I'm Alex Weathersby, and this is my web series review for Kate the Cursed. Kate the Cursed is a vlog-style series about Kate, a high school student, and her relationships with her self-absorbed sister Britt, sweet best friend Megan, and her annoying schoolmate James Wright. It's based on William Shakespeare's Taming of the Shrew. One of the things I really liked about this web series was Megan and Kate's friendship. I feel like it definitely rounded Kate out more as a character and didn't make her solely like the nagging big sister or the potential love interest. I feel like it was very helpful for rounding out her personality. And it also showed how she behaved not just with people like James, who she clearly doesn't like at the beginning of the series, but someone who she's been friends with for a very long time. And since Britt, the Bianca character of the series, doesn't have a very large role in the story, it was also helpful to have someone else to kind of give us more backstory on Kate's personality, why she acts the way she does, and someone who she can play off of. I also really liked the element of having the Jeopardy game and then the drawing. That's not super recent now to do the like drawing your story thing. Those aren't really done as often anymore. It was just a fun way to give information and to give us a little more history without it using very commonly done ways of doing that. The dress up and the role play to show like what happens are very saturated at this point. Those are done extremely often in literary based web series. I also really liked that the series was from Kate's point of view. The original text doesn't give Catherine very much agency, and she's also just depicted in a very stereotypical way as sort of the antithesis of the perfect woman, and then all of the scheming and the plots throughout the play kind of force her into becoming the most perfect submissive wife. It's been debated about what Shakespeare's intentions with this play were, whether it was meant to be satirical, whether Kate's really just playing along with the part that's going to get her what she wants. What I really liked about this web series was it still drew on the original text, but it gave Kate her own agency and her own perspective at looking at why she behaves the way she does, maybe how it's not the healthiest thing for some of her relationships, and it gives her the ability to take responsibility and the ability to initiate self-growth without making James seem as if he has no sort of part in the problem. He very genuinely acts like a jerk. Some things that I felt like could have been done better with this web series was the fact that since Britt plays a very underdeveloped role, the sister relationship between Kate and Britt is very underdeveloped. Also, a lot of the drama with all the different relationships, how all the guys fall in love with her, all of that is off screen a lot of the time. It's very underplayed in this web series. So if you're a fan of things like the 10 Things I Hate About You adaptation and how a lot of the driving of the plot comes from all of these high school boys and their intention to date Bianca and encouraging James to date Kate or Catherine, if you're used to that driving the plot, it can be a little jarring to not have that element, and it definitely reduces the opportunity for a lot of the drama and comedy. I don't think it was necessarily a bad decision for that reason, because it did give us, again, like a lot of options for Kate to have agency and self-growth. But I think definitely not having the sister relationship be as developed was something I wish had been in the series a little more, especially since it's established that Britt and Kate's relationship and their rivalry has always been a large part of why Kate is the way she is. Around episode 24, Kate kind of makes some comments about college and how the stress of knowing she's going to graduate and trying to figure out where she's going to go, what she's going to do, how that's playing into a lot internally, which is then being expelled externally to how she treats other people. And I kind of wish that had been introduced earlier, so we could have seen it sort of escalate over the course of the series. And then of course there's just the infamous plot hole with James's car where they talk about like how terrible it is, and then we physically see it on camera later on. And the episode where they originally talk about it makes it seem like over exaggerates how bad the car is, to the point where when we finally see it, it just seems it's not hugely plot relevant. It just feels very jarring to see this big plot hole that's just never addressed. I would watch this web series if you really like Shakespeare, especially the more comedic Shakespeare plays. This is probably one of the more well-known ones, along with Much Ado About Nothing. It kind of has that hate-to-love rom-com trope involved in it. So if that's something that you really like and you're really attached to, I would definitely watch this web series. If you really like women protagonists, again, Kate is given a lot of agency. A lot of the series involves her coming to terms with why she behaves the way she does and what's going on internally that's coming out externally with her behavior. So if you're really into women-centered web series, then I would definitely watch this web series. If you really like literary-based web series where the plot points are very close to the text, I think this would be a really good web series for you. A lot of the elements that happen in the original text, she's married, there's the wedding night drama, the getting to the inn drama, all of the friends showing up and making dinner a really horrible experience, how there's all those different events, and then her big speech at the end. Elements of this web series are definitely based off the progression of events in the novel, which I don't always see, especially with Shakespeare-worthy texts, just because, or at least a few Shakespeare texts. This is one where they tend to divert from the source material quite a bit and just focus mainly on the setup, which is, of course, like all the guys like Bianca, they want to be able to date her for whatever reason. Bianca's can't date until Cat dates. So if you really prefer when they do stick to the plot and you like that challenge of being like, oh my gosh, like this relates to what happened in the book at this point, then this would be a really good web series for you to watch. If you prefer TV style adaptations to vlog, I would not watch this web series. I'd say a good 80 to 90% of the episodes is solely characters discussing things on screen and not actually seeing the things happen. If you would prefer to see more about the Bianca character, who again in this web series is named Britt, or maybe James, just see more of the other characters surrounding Kate, then you might want to look for another web series adaptation because this is centered very closely on her perspective, her point of view. And if you prefer original web series, again, this is a literary-based web series and it is one that follows very strictly with the conventions of the original text. I would skip this web series if you're really looking for more of an original concept that maybe isn't as easy to see the ending coming or to know what plot points are going to happen next. As always, I will put a link to the web series in the description box. If you have comments, things that you agree with, things you disagree with, things that you think I forgot to mention, then definitely post them in the comments and I'll see you next time.